Okay, this is a video that continues our actual versus forecast kind of analysis. And this time, I'd like to make a little chart, and I'd like to show how the actual compares to the forecast. And when we make this chart, we might want to make it not only as a chart, we also might want to make that chart in terms of percent of revenue or percent of units sold or expenses, etc. Okay, so we're gonna, here's the problem. In our original financial model, this gross energy is on line 5, and this one it's line 8. We might insert or delete some rows. We would like to present on the graph the actuals through 2013 kind of in one color. Well, this doesn't have to be in a different color necessarily. And let's present the forecast on another graph. Now, there are all sorts of ways to do it. It's not very difficult. You could do it manually pretty easily. But what we're going to do is show you how to use a little match in the index. Now, this, again, it depends critically on the titles being the same. And I have a row from the forecast and a row from the actual. Once we get this row from the actual, we'll make a little drop-down box. We'll make a code number. This drop-down box will refer to this code number, and we'll take the gross energy or any of these and make these all appear on a graph with a drop-down box. And then we'll we'll use this row number and this row number to kind of put two little things on the graph. Okay, maybe I'll start the graph here. I've got the actuals down. I've got another example just below, and there'll be a little bit of a problem with the minimum function, and there's also a little bit of a problem if the titles here, let's say some titles would be on title C instead of B. Okay, that's just a real world kind of problem. Now, let's just do it kind of, I'm going to repeat this, kind of what I had here first. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm not going to worry about the circular reference right now. Y31, some circular reference. Now what you do is you simply match this one against the whole column in column C, but you better press the 0, and you just put a match, and you go to this one, and you match the column, is it column C? It's column B. Let me put comma 0. Okay, and this, then we get the two. Uh-oh, why did it not work? Okay, and we can get all the kind of things. We don't have any actuals for this yet. Don't worry, we will in a little while. And then we can compare the actual and the forecast. Now, if we would like, let's put a code number here as 1. So now, let's say I want to grab the actual data. I would put perhaps let's put FM row, and we would just put equal index again. This is like a double index kind of a thing. So we take this one, and I didn't really have to press the F4, and that would give us a different row number. Now all I did here was take the this is just the names here. Okay, it has to be in one column, and then this is the. Hope the birds aren't too loud, but it's nice to hear birds in the background. I don't think that's so bad. Okay, and now so if we change, we just can do this, and if I want to show a couple of extra lines, this is wasting your time a little bit, but okay. All right, and now let's do the same thing and put the actual. This should be actual right now because we're just using the actual, and let's put the index and do the same thing. Just get the row from the actual. No needed to press F4, and then now we'll use the index again, but this time differently. So this time we're going to, now let's put the years up here. Let's say we start with 2009. That's our first kind of forecast year after the COD. Okay, let's do it this way. LTIS. Let's go out in this case to 2020. Just say that's what we want to do. And then we can put actual row, comma, column. So, and the same thing here. Okay, we get all the rows and columns, and then we just put match again. Match this one against the this data. You could put 0 if you want, and that gives you the column. And you put the match again, this one against the actual data, and you put and they happen to be the same row. And we don't have anything after that row. That's good. Okay, it gave us that answer. Now then, if we want the data, we can put the index for the of all of the stuff we have, and then put a comma and go to the code number. F4 this time. Did I press F4? I didn't even press F4. Did I press the number 4? Okay. Now, this was a kind of silly thing to do. This better be in a different row number, because when we make the graph, we better keep it separate and copy this to this one. Now this time, put index, and to get the index, we have, for the entire one, we have the row and the column. Now, I think I'm going to put down here financial model, and then let's put actual. Okay, and for this one we put index, and this is the key. You go to the financial model and you click on between the A and the 1. Now all these people say heavy, I hate that word, heavy. Oh no, it's like a heavy metal forecast or something. Then this doesn't make the model heavy to take the entire thing. At least I don't think it does. You can argue. If somebody has a good argument, tell me. Now this is the row number from the financial, and then I put a F4, and then we put the column number. And we don't need an F4. And we do the same thing. We put an index for our actual. We go to the actual financial data, click on the entire sheet, and then click on the row and then the column. Okay, and Shift Control R. Now we're ready to make our graph. And if we switch this to the gross energy, we get some different stuff. Okay. Now there are only a little bit of problems with this graph. Well, first we better put the year right above it. Okay. I think generally this should work. We can press F11, and then we can, on the chart title, simply put the title we want. Of course, then we'll take the drop-down box and put it on the graph. Okay, and now we can, and that's just about it. Okay, so we can look at all of our data and see the rows and the columns. Now I'm not going to spend a lot of time on, well, you could have made the X scale flexible and all that. I think I'm going to address one other issue at this point. And so let's call this actual versus financial model. Okay. What would happen if in this instance, for some reason, we deleted this one and put this one in a different column? So this one, for some reason, would come from, the columns would be, and that happens a lot, you know, that they're not all in the same column. What are some of the ways we could address this one? Now, kind of a simple way, not that simple, if we go to now the energy for outage, I don't have the actual anymore because we couldn't find it. So here's how to kind of address that. We could, up here, and you could do this with both, so with both the actual and the forecast, we could put another one that says, okay, I'm inserting a couple of columns, obviously, actual row column B, that was column B, and we put it equal match, and we click on this, and we go to, in actual, we go to column B, comma 0, okay, I think, and then we still had our NA. Now then you could put actual column C, and you put a match, and you go to this one, and you click on the actual, and then you click on column C. So that'll get this one, and we put comma 0, and they give us NAs except for number 2. And then we put, over here, we put adjusted final match. Now what you can do is, there's no sum NA. So what you can do is you can make a little macro. I'm going to call it NA sum. I'm going to go to the developer. I've already done this, but I'm going to make a macro. I'm going to call it NA sum. And I'm going to create it. And now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to do this. I just kind of showed you the answer up here, but we make a function called NA sum, and let's see how easy that is. We put series in here, and then we just make a loop that goes from for I equal 1 to series dot count. That's the first thing we do. That counts, and then we say, well, if worksheet function dot is number is of the series of I equal true, you don't have to put it like that, you can just leave it like that, then we're going to go to NA sum equals NA sum plus series I, and if next Did that take very long? I don't think that took very long. And then so you can find these function libraries or do them yourself. So you put NA underscore sum, and you just, and uh-oh, ambiguous. Uh-oh, we of course, I call this MA sum function. We have to, that will just allow us to see where it is. So I made a mistake. Typical. Now it just gives you the sum. The regular sum function wouldn't work. So that's how quickly we did it. This all gives you zeros. And now when we take our actual and forecast, we better take this one for the final match. Okay, and energy for outage, this was index of B, that was okay. And I think everything's okay now. So now we can, if we look at our actual and forecast graph, now the energy for outage is there as well as all the other data. Okay, so that's how to make a comparison. And it says macro free workbook, so now we've got to save this as a macro enabled file, and we're finished. Okay, and that's the end of this video, quickly showing you how to make a